It is now my great pleasure to welcome to the stage someone who is perfectly placed to kick off the conference and provide an overview of the global and regional bioeconomy. Please put your hands together for Jukka Kantola, who is chair of the World Bioeconomy Association.
Thanks, Paul. Thanks for inviting me into this very prominent event. This is the first time here in APAC. I used to live here in Asia, a number of years in China, partially in Indonesia, so I have some flavor of Asia, even though coming from Finland, or shall I say from Funland. You know, it has been selected, 8 times in a row, the most happiest nation in the world. So I have make an official proposal to our government that we should really rebrand it. But okay, I have some serious stuff also here, what I'm going to share. Indeed, my name is Jukka Kantola, and I'm the executive chair of the World Bioeconomy Association. Today, what we are discussing is about, how does the bioeconomy look like today in global arenas? We've been participating on these discussions recently with the G20 or then also with the climate convention discussions. So I'd like to share a few viewpoints on those discussions and hopefully casting some trust that you are on the right track. So here is my agenda today. I'm going to talk why the bioeconomy matters today. It has emerged as a topic also in the global arenas, as I said, like the G20, or it's increasing also here in the APAC area. It's very important that also the global governance is emerging, I dare to share. You know, these G20 principles, some of you maybe have come across with those notions. I would warmly recommend you all to have a look on these. What's the content of that? And related to that, there is also another emerging topic. It's about how do we finance, how do we replicate this all. I'd like to share a few points on it as well. I try to touch upon on the Asia and Pacific. You are better experts on that field, but some notions, how do I see your area developments, and then the importance of the governance structure. Yeah, I said that, I'm coming from the World Bioeconomy Association, which is rooted from the World Bioeconomy Forum. The World Bioeconomy Forum was established in 2018, and we very much provided a platform about, let's say, bioeconomy stakeholders to discuss about this topic, not only commercial terms, but also from the political perspectives. And as we were becoming more and more active on the global arenas, we thought it's better to, let's say, convert our operations under the non-governmental organization. And that's the reason we launched World Bioeconomy Association in our Washington, D.C. event in the end of 2023. So we've been now operating ever since under the World Bioeconomy Association. Within the World Bioeconomy Association, we have a sort of holistic approach on the bioeconomy, which means that we are incorporating the bioresource vision, biotechnology vision, and bioecology vision. This is our way that how we could engage the various types of the bioeconomy under the same umbrella. If you have any interest to join along with this movement, just grab me during these days. I'm more than happy to tell more about us. Okay, getting into the topic itself, the global trends. This is nothing new for any one of us here. That we are moving from globalization to more for the polarization. And this is certainly posing some challenge to this bioeconomy, and not only the bioeconomy, another, let's say, global, let's say, agreement-based approaches. But on the other hand, this is another sort of emerging topic is then the biorevolution. I think most of us has heard about that. This is not a notion invented by us. You can come across with the World Economic Forum. You can come across with the China bioeconomy strategy. You can come across with that one when you are talking with US representatives. The bio revolution is knocking on the door, and we are in the middle of that. This is now the landscape of the bioeconomy. How do we see within the World Bioeconomy Association? I dare to say that it's not anymore niche, because there are already 25 announced bioeconomy strategies, which are not alike. Each of them do have their own emphasis or their own priorities. They are, like coming from Finland, there's a very much focus on bioros vision, because Finland is very much having rich of the bioresources. On the other hand, there are other areas which are very much focused on biotechnology, and we do see that there are growing interest to this. You know, I just came from Oman a couple of weeks back. They are also building up their bioeconomy strategy. It's very much focusing on the biotechnology. So each of us is having our own interests on this. You can find these all bioeconomy strategies from our website. This is the concept that we are advocating within the Bioeconomy Association. So in other words, these are these three interconnected visions. Bioresource vision, which is very much sort of, let's say, I would say the traditional way of thinking the bioeconomy. You have biological resources at your disposal, and your activities are related to that. How do you cultivate that in the various type of application? On the other hand, you might have a biotechnology vision where you are using the biotechnology as a tool for these conversions, which is a very particular technology, which is also set sort of, let's say, reducing our dependence on biological resources, because you can use also like CO2 from the atmosphere and cultivate that into various type of application, like one of our members, Lansatek, is already doing today, or like solar food from Finland. They have a presence also here in Singapore. They are then providing proteins out of the atmosphere. So that's very particular technology. And then thirdly, you need to balance with the planetary boundaries, and for that purpose, or for that perspective, there's a bioecology and social vision, which means that you are keeping the nature intact, and you are not extracting anything out of that. So that has been our basic message for let's say political decision makers. You need to balance in between these three visions. Then I like to move on, and I'd like to share some latest developments on global arenas when it comes to the bioeconomy. I think one of the major milestones within the bioeconomy was taken 2 years back in Brazil, during the Brazil G20 presidency, when they introduced the high-level principles on bioeconomy, as I said in the beginning. This high-level principle is a very smart document. It's short enough. It's only one A4, so even the ministers can read it. It's having the 10 points, and it is having the interconnections in between the bioeconomy and climate change mitigation, bioeconomy and biodiversity. So it is very, very holistic paper, and I would claim that this is having the notions that we've been then talking about, that you need to have the holistic approach on bioeconomy in order to make that as a global phenomenon. And it was not only the Brazil who was then working on these topics. Also the South Africa last year carried on the discussion around this the bioeconomy initiative. So we know very well, because we were part of these discussions or in the Brazil time, and we were also participating in discussions last year in South Africa. We know that US is now heading to G20, so there's not that much happening during this year, but next year the UK will take over the G20 presidency, and they have already, let's say, expressed that they will carry on this bioeconomy agenda during their G20 presidency. Another milestone, last year under the Brazil COP30 presidency in Belém, the bioeconomy was the very first time as an official topic within the climate change mitigation discussion. And I think it's very, very important. It's very, very historical event that took place in Belém. Because this is sort of paving the way that what we are talking here, like Paul was mentioned, okay, we are providing a solution for the fossil-based alternatives. It need to be supported also by these global decision-making arenas like this climate COP is. And as an outcome of this Belém 30, you know, the bioeconomy challenge was officially introduced. And what does it then mean? This is a 3-year program all the way to 2028, and it contains 4 elements. It is about the metrics. How do we measure? You remember that 2024 there was high-level principles on bioeconomy. There's a global comprehension on it. There's a global reference on the bioeconomy, and now we need to know that how well we are performing against these principles, and that's the reason this metrics is very, very important part of the bioeconomy challenge. Then this is coordinated by FAO. Then there's finance. This is coordinated by Inter-American Development Bank. We are part of that group as well. If you have an interest to join into this group, grab me on another shoulder and I can talk about that. And then it's about trade and socioeconomic. But all in all, this is about the bioeconomy challenge, which will ensure that the bioeconomy is kept on the global arenas also in the future. Finance is evolving, but it's not, the scale up is underfunded. Our message in this has been that, you know, the sustainable finance is already accounting some $6 trillion, which has said, developed ever since 1970s. But if you have a look on details on sustainable financing, it doesn't incorporate the bioeconomy investments. And our sort of, let's say, the message that we need to then somehow engage the bioeconomy as a part of the sustainable financing, because their mechanisms are already there in place. Then how do we do that? We make a study together with Nature Finance within the G20 context, where we had a look at what sort of domains they need to be exist in order to sort of channel then the existing sustainable financing as a part of the or incorporate into bioeconomy. And we ended up having these 3 domains, which are the nature-intensive bioeconomy, which is sort of natural, the bioeconomy should already exist, advanced bioeconomy and high-tech bioeconomy. The work is then conducted by the Inter-American Development Bank, and there are these focus is the developed investment pipelines, and I have a look of the log, so I don't go into details in this, but it is important. The message here is that you do know the contact organization, Inter-American Development Bank, and myself, if you have any interest to join into this type of collaboration. So there are good number of examples on the global arenas how the bioeconomy is evolving. So it's good time to be in this. Then when we have a look on the competitive landscape, I had a look on through these 3 major economies, just to show in that there is a difference in between these bioeconomy emphasis. So in like the European Union, with this emphasis is on responsible biomass use, circular economy principles, and stricter regulatory frameworks. Whereas in the United States is strongly oriented towards biotechnology vision, priorities and technology innovations. We do know that the Biotech Act was revoked, the Biotech Act which took place 2022, but it doesn't say that the biotechnology is not performing in the US. If you have a look now, the biotech patents which are filed, is it said that 70% of that are filed either in US or in China. And if you have a look at the IT sector of the US, they are very keen on this biotechnology. I was participating, it was exactly a year ago, in Asilomar Summit in California. And what was very particular that it gathers some 300 major biotech experts from all over the world. And there were also the IT companies were there in place, like Microsoft, chief technical officer. He spent 3 days within this conference. It's only indicating that how well they are engaged into these biotechnology. China combines large-scale biomass capacity with the biotechnology-driven strategy. So globally, we see 3 models: regulation-led sustainability in the EU, innovation-led industrialization in the US, and scale-driven techno-industrial expansion in China. So this is the landscape of the major economy. So I try to touch upon that. How do we see then the Asia-Pacific area? Asia-Pacific is rapidly emerging as a major force in industrial biotechnology. So we see that the biostrategies are well in place here in Singapore. Japan just revised the bioeconomy strategies 2 years ago. Then South Korea is having that, and they have a very strong support from the by the Prime Minister and President. So across the region, we have witnessed large-scale investment in biomanufacturing, expanding fermentation capacity. We just talked in the coffee break that these kind of things really happen, and growing CDMO infrastructure. At the same time, the private equity and venture capital ecosystems are strengthening. Commercialization cycles are often fast, and there is a close public-private alignment in priority sectors. In short, competitiveness is the bioeconomy is becoming a prominent feature in Asia-Pacific region strategies. Then in here, there is a point which gets quite often overlooked. Governance readiness is a market readiness. We talked that in this coffee session before this conference took off. If the regulation is fragmented with multiple regulations and unclear pathways, approvals slow down, as we do know very well. And the time to market becomes unpredictable. That uncertainty is exactly what investors and industry struggles with. That's why the fast track and resilience pathways matter, especially for priority biotech products. If we can create trusted, accelerated routes and reduce risk and unlock scale up capital. And finally, governance has to cover the full value chain, scale up, certification, standards, and trade. Without this, markets stay fragmented and scaling remains expensive. This is exactly what is taking place in not only here. I said a couple of weeks back in Oman, they are really looking after for this kind of, let's say, dimensions that how to inbuild into their bioeconomy strategy. So the Singapore case that I think Singapore demonstrates what coordinated biotech governance could look like in practice. I think during these days we will hear more sort of, let's say, profound presentations on this topic, and it begins with a clear strategy and alignment under National Research Foundation, ensuring whole of government coordination across research, industry, and finance. A-STAR provides the research backbone, translating science into pilot scale and industry readiness ready capabilities. The regulatory pillars, such as HSA, SFA, often offer trusted science-based oversight with the clear mandates and drive commercialization and scale up. The result is an integrated ecosystem from strategy to research, regulation, and market deployment, designed deliberately to the market access. Move innovation from lab to market efficiency and predictability. So to conclude, I would say that, first we must align definitions and metrics globally. Without a shared understanding, capital remains fragmented. And I said that, as exhibited, there are good examples which are taking place in global arenas to speed up the development of this sector. Secondly, we need to have a clear standards that unlock financing and reduce investor uncertainty. And there are these bioeconomy challenge. As a part of that, there's a financing work stream run by Inter-American Development Bank, which is really focusing on this topic. Thirdly, scaling biomanufacturing ecosystems is critical. Infrastructure, talent, and industrial capacity must grow together. This is really an issue in various parts of the world, that how you can ensure that you have a capable capacity once you are building on this. This is part of the strategy creation that what we then participate. It's always an issue to be then discussed. Fourthly, the regulatory systems should implement fast-tracked and reliance pathways to shorten time to market. So you need to cover the whole life cycle, starting from the lab all the way for the market entering. And finally, governance could be then digitalized, because this is the way that you are ensuring transparency, life cycle monitoring, and data integrity. If we align these elements, we can move from pilot project to global industrial transformation. So thank you for your attention. Thank you for your attention.